What is ChatGPT, and how is it changing marketing as we know it right before our very eyes? And how can you use it to transform your content marketing? Today, we're going to explore the seemingly overnight rise to fame and all the buzz that is ChatGPT. I'm your host, Chad Reinerson, and this is Undone Marketing. So in today's Undone Marketing podcast, we're going to take a look at what exactly is ChatGPT. For those of you who aren't familiar, it is revolutionizing the way that people generate content. And I got to say, I've been testing it for about the past 2 months, and it's absolutely incredible. So we're going to take a look at how it's going to revolutionize the small and medium businesses, how it's going to accelerate your content marketing strategy, and how it's going to change how you produce copy. Now, this is something where, I've worked with a lot of small businesses over the years, and a lot of the most common challenges that I hear from them around their content marketing strategy is to say, I don't have enough time to sit down and create content. I'm not a copywriter. I don't have the budget to hire a copywriter. It's too complicated, and it just falls by the wayside. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see small and medium businesses making, is not investing more in their content marketing. And honestly, ChatGPT is going to change all of that because it generates content for you. So ChatGPT, it's an AI language model, and it was developed by an open source company called OpenAI, and it came out last November of 2022. And it's capable of generating very real and human-like text that's based off of whatever input that it's given. So you can enter any range of topics, and it will output within seconds a very well-written blog, article, basically whatever you're asking it to create, it's going to give you back. So I've been using it for about 2 months, and it's absolutely incredible. I got to say that this is going to absolutely turn SEO on its head. In fact, it's going to turn on its head, it's going to spin it around, and then it's going to kick it a couple of times for everything that we're seeing out of this. And in all my years of digital marketing, I've never seen something like this, a marketing tool like this, that is an overnight game changer. And for not only a game changer, but something that every size of company, everyone can use. Whether you're a startup that's just getting going and you're thinking about your content marketing strategy, to a small business, to a medium-sized business, anybody can be using this. And last December, there's an interesting Business Insider article that came out where they claim that Google's management has reportedly issued a code red over the rising popularity of the ChatGPT AI. And I can absolutely see why. So let's go ahead and get into this, and let's talk about the good and the bad of ChatGPT. So first thing that we want to go through is some of the top 5 things that ChatGPT can do for your marketing so that you can understand it a little bit more. Number 1 on the list is the content creation. So ChatGPT will generate really high quality and originally written content for your marketing campaigns. So things like blog posts, articles, product page descriptions, product descriptions, and more. When you look at the amount of work that goes into creating blog posts, it's significant, right? There's specialized copywriters for that. And we'll get into this a little bit. ChatGPT takes care of all that for you. The other thing it does is chatbot development. Is it will actually create an AI chatbot for your marketing campaigns and for your website. And if you're not using a chatbot on your website or in your social marketing channels, you're missing out, because they've really become a standard expectation in the customer's mind that I'm going to have some type of chatbot interaction that can answer some basic fundamental questions for me. So if you don't have one, this is something to seriously look at. The third thing is ad copywriting. ChatGPT is going to generate ad copy for you, and it can actually generate really good ad copy that is persuasive and attention grabbing, and can actually lower your CPC, lower your cost per click on your ads, and improve your effectiveness of your paid ads. The fourth thing that it'll do for you is email marketing. It will actually generate engaging and personalized emails. It will take content and topics that you give it and it will write a really nicely organized and informative email that you can then upload and use with your email marketing CRM. And finally, the fifth thing is your social media posts. ChatGPT can generate your social media posts for, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. When you're talking about the different captions that you need to write, it will actually generate those. And you can even have them generate them in bulk, right? Give it a couple topics and say, I need a month's worth of captions, and it will generate all those for you. So let's go ahead and jump into each of those points a little bit more in depth and talk about what that means for you and how it's changing the marketing world as we know it. So I've been using ChatGPT for about the past 2 months, as I mentioned, and I got to say it produces very, very good content is how I would rate it. It's excellent with its English and its grammar, and it's surprisingly on point with the information that it gives you. You can give it some broad topics, and it must go out there to the internet and, kind of in microseconds research and pull back relevant information into what it's creating and generating, because it gives a surprising amount of accurate details in its writing. Now, how I would rate it is it's probably about 75% complete for what I would write, which is still really, really good. I've worked with a lot of copywriters in my years of marketing, and this is easily better than half of them. And you're still going to have your very specialized copywriters, but I will say that as a start, as building a framework, it's about 75% complete of where you would want for a simple blog, a simple email. It's never going to write, the level of what the top copywriters are going to create for you. But then again, you're paying an incredible price for those top copywriters, right? They're expensive. So what I've seen is it's about 75% complete for the topics. And then what you can do to kind of fast forward a little bit here is, as a best practice that I found, is take the framework that it's given you, right? Take that content that it gives you, and then that's when you add your personal touches to it, right? You customize it with your authority, with your expertise, with your information, with your talking points, with your products, and that's what will then create a fully polished piece of content or blog or article, right? Is that the ChatGPT will spit out something that's 75% there, right? It gives you a really nice framework to work with, and then customize it, and that gets you to where you need to be. And because it does this in a few minutes, right? I'm sorry, not a few, in a few seconds, you can really be creating content at a record speed, right? You can create a blog within 10, 15 minutes because it'll send back that content within a few seconds. You go through, add in your information, and in 15 to 20 minutes, you have a fully written blog. So it's really incredible how fast it can create this high quality and originally written content. So when you take a look at the ChatGPT platform, there's a couple different settings that it has. And in those settings, you can select the guidelines or the liberties that it'll take with the words. So if you have it on a low setting, it'll be pretty conservative with the word selections that it takes, right? And as you move it up, it'll get more and more liberal with those word selections. And so finally at the highest setting is it's going to be taking a lot of liberties with those words and the content that it sends back. The advantage though of a higher setting is it gives you something that's completely unique, right? Completely new. And then you can use that information. So you can kind of adjust the slider on there based off of how aggressive you want it to be with its word selection versus how conservative you want it to be. So you can kind of think of it like guidelines. But when you get into your copywriting, right, it's going to write anything that you need. You can say, write me a 500-word blog post, write me an article, write me a product page, right? And I've played around with all of those, and it matches it really well. I've even gotten to the point where I'm asking it to write specific product pages with specific callouts, and it writes really impressive product pages too. So the more information that you're giving it, the more you're going to get out of it. But it is incredibly accurate with that. Now you take a look at what are some of the freelance writing services that are out there, right? And there's a number of them. For a blog writer, for an average blog writer, you're probably looking at paying at least $30 an hour minimum, probably more like $50 an hour. And then for the more advanced articles that you would want written, you're looking at spending $100 an hour for a copywriter who's going to do their research and put in their time, right? So for $100 an hour, you've got to factor that into your budget if you're a small business. Because realistically, you're expecting right now to pay about $300 to $500 for a short blog is what you're looking at paying. And if your content strategy is to have 4 to 5 blogs per month that you publish on your website, those are real costs. You're looking at, $2,000, $2,500 a month that you have to factor into your budget just for content writing for blogs. ChatGPT does away with all of that because, again, if you're looking for a good, right, I'll call it a very good written blog, then ChatGPT can do that for any size company. Small business, solo operation, medium-sized business. I think that actually ChatGPT works so well for that, and it speeds up the writing time by so much that what used to take hours now takes minutes. I think that it's actually going to kill that lower level copywriting business. I think it's going to get rid of and do away with the lower level copywriters. There will never be, well, I shouldn't say never because I don't think that anybody really expected this even a few years ago, but it will be difficult to replace the high level copywriters, the ones that are advanced with the research that they do, with the type of writing that they do. But if you're looking for, again, emails, blogs, different social posts, this is it. Like, this works really well. And I can see why Google raised the red flag on this. I really can, because it's actually scary with what it can produce so quickly. Because you don't need to be a copywriter or hire a copywriter for these small writing requirements anymore, right? Is that you can create this copy automatically. And when it's writing it, it's formatting it for SEO friendly. Output. And that's huge because most people don't know where to start to write SEO friendly copy. And so when you think about that, say, okay, well, I know I want it to be SEO friendly. ChatGPT automatically creates SEO friendly copy in a format and a style that works well for the search engines. So there's another benefit right there is you've got very accurate copy that produces it in seconds and it's SEO friendly. So there's 3 really big advantages to it. Plus, the cost of it is incredibly low. They work off of like a token-based subscription. I'm sure they'll be tweaking it and kind of figuring it out a little bit, and they'll commercialize it more. But right now, it's kind of based off of this token system that's worth so many words, and you get charged that way. But it's still incredibly affordable. Now, the cons of why I think Google raised the red flag on this is because it's really hard to tell what's written by a human and what's written by the AI bot. And that's really important because when you want relevant articles that are written by experts in that subject, you're no longer guaranteed that that's what you're going to be seeing, right? Because now anybody can look or appear to be an expert on everything, right? They just have to enter the topic into ChatGPT and they publish it. No research is needed anymore. And because, as I mentioned, that they produce good SEO-friendly results, they're going to start getting ranked. And because of how fast it is, a single person can be cranking out hundreds of blogs a day, right? So think of all the misinformation that's already online that's being written by people. And now an AI bot can exponentially increase that amount of misinformation out there. Right? So with Google, they've spent millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on building the algorithms that it uses to give the most relevant search results back. Because that's what Google counts on, right? Is they go through and they look at all the different pieces of content out there, right? They've got their own, bots going through and scraping all the different websites to find the most relevant and credible information to return for your search results. Well, now how can they tell what's actually relevant and credible, because anybody can be writing this stuff. I can be writing anything, and I'm not an expert on any of it. But Chat GPT is returning all these different articles. So that's going to be a major issue, not only for the search engines, but for people doing searches, is how do you determine what's an actually credible article anymore and what's just been something that's been generated by an AI bot off of this. So interesting stuff there. Pros and cons, as always, right? But the pros that we'll focus on here for the small businesses, small, medium businesses, is it will change. It will absolutely change how you can create your content. All right, getting into chatbot development. So we just talked about how you can write your blogs. All right, you get onto ChatGPT and say, I want a 500-word blog on this subject, and it should contain, X, Y, and Z details about it. And it'll spit that right back out at you. Very similar to chatbot development is that it will create chatbots for your marketing campaigns that will engage with your customers in real time and provide personalized support. There's a number of different chatbots that are out there. I personally like ChatFuel. I've used them a lot. And building chatbots is not easy. I've built a number of them over the years, and it takes time, and they can be pretty complex. I've used ZoomInfo's chatbot platform, and it's not exactly user friendly. It's pretty complex to build them. You have to get used to it. You have to learn it. You have to understand it. And again, those are things that small business owners, medium business owners don't have time for, right? They're involved in running their business. They don't have time to sit down and become an expert in how to build chatbots. Now you have this AI feature, AI tool that does it for you. And as I mentioned earlier on, they really are becoming the standard. That when people go to a website, and especially your social media accounts like your Facebook pages, people expect to have real interactions there. And people look at communication through your messenger inbox, through direct message on Instagram, TikTok. They look at that as a credible interaction with your business. No longer is it just submitting an email form or a phone call is how people are requesting information. They're requesting it real time through Messenger, right? Through your DMs. So having a chat bot is really important to be able to interact with your audience in real time. And ChatGPT can do that. Third thing is your ad copywriting. That's another big one because, again, it's a scary thing. Running paid ads, it's real money. And you have to have some understanding of how to write your ads and how to manage and optimize your campaigns in order to get good results and not just kind of be wasting that money out there. And so a lot of small business owners that I talk with, they kind of shy away from that, right? They might dabble here or there. They might boost some Facebook posts. They might run a few ads, but they're really not that invested until they can actually hire an agency to manage that for them. And again, that comes with higher costs. Agencies aren't cheap, or hiring an in-house person, right? Bringing in a PPC specialist and making him a full-time employee. Again, that's expensive. Now ChatGPT will generate that ad copy for you. You can enter in, what you'd like the ad subject to be. Again, a couple details, and it will write persuasive and attention-grabbing ad copy for your online campaigns. And I've been testing out a couple different ad groups that were written by ChatGPT. And again, I'm impressed by this because some of them are outperforming the ad groups that I created myself. And again, that's a little eye-opening that an AI software can build better ad groups, build better ad campaigns. Those that I'm testing out are getting lower cost per clicks. They're getting higher positions. And that's something that's a real value. When you talk about not only being able to start, if you don't have a content marketing strategy, this will start your content marketing, but it really takes your content marketing strategy to the next level and now allows you to be running paid ads without having to invest in the traditional resources that you normally had to buy, to invest in with either an agency or an in-house person to write your ad copy. Now, you still have to be managing them, right? You still have to be actively managing them and optimizing them. And that is something that ChatGPT will not do for you. But to get you started with creating ad groups that perform well, that's a huge step. Next thing is email marketing. So the fourth thing that we're talking about here is email marketing. And this is also something that I think scares a lot of business owners because they're not quite sure how to do it well. They know they have to be doing it. It's pretty common. It's been around for a long, long time. And the number of email marketing campaigns that are done well is really slim when you're comparing it to, how many companies that are out there. The majority of email marketing campaigns are not well run. They're not well written. They have grammatical errors. They're not on point. They kind of ramble. They're not impressive. And of course, those are the ones that get sent to the spam, right? So if you've got a low open rate, if you've got low click rates, if you're just not seeing the results that you want out of your email marketing campaign, you're probably falling into that lower half tier to where you're just not quite there for what your audience wants to see. ChatGPT, again, can change that because they will generate, like it's a group of people, it will generate engaging and personalized email content for your marketing campaigns. Now, that's a huge time saver because, again, sitting down and having to write an email out, much less a series of emails. So if you're sitting down with your content calendar and you're working through your month-long schedule of emails, or maybe you're 2-month long, right? So between 30 and 60 days of emails, it takes a lot of time to sit down, plan it out, and then write all of those, right? Write the copy that you want in there. And especially if you're building out an automated email reply system that offers more personalized email replies, right? So it's more personal than when somebody submits a lead form on your website and you just send back the, hey, thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch shortly. That if you're actually writing personalized responses back based off of the area of interest or the topic that they wrote in on, then that takes a lot of copywriting as well to write all those individual emails. ChatGPT does that. And again, it's probably about 75% of where it needs to be. And you can then take that framework that it gives you in a few seconds, and then you can polish it up with more details, with more authority, with your contact information, with your expertise. I recently created an automatic email reply system through Pardot. There's a company that was just onboarding Pardot, and so I wrote their automatic email replies for them, and they had 57 automatic email replies. And they're obviously very specific based off of what the answers on that lead form were, right? Which product they were selecting. Were they a customer? Yes or no? Did they have to work with a specific partner? Yes or no? And so those different combinations on the lead form meant that there were 57 unique auto reply emails that would get sent out. That took about 2 weeks to write and load all of those. Seeing now, ChatGPT could probably have done that in a day or two. I mean, just the time savings alone is what I think is really changing the marketing world. Is it's allowing what was not possible for a lot of companies to be possible, and then the time savings. All right, final thing to look at is social media posts. And when I was working with a lot of these small businesses over the years, this is the number one thing that they would say that they don't have time for is social media, that it would kind of fall by the wayside, right? And again, I know I need to post on Facebook. Yeah, I need to post on Instagram or TikTok. I need to make videos. I don't have time for it, right? Like, it's just not my focus. I need to be running my business. I can't be playing around on Facebook. But the reality is that the social media posts are important. It's important to engage with your audience, right? Show them unique content, create that, put that out there, because that's where your audiences are, right? They're on social media. And if you're not utilizing social media effectively, right? And again, this is something where just putting a couple random posts out there throughout the year that don't really have a structure, a purpose, a target, or consistency, that's not a strategy. All right, you need to be all those. You need to be consistent. You need to be focused. You need to make sure it's engaging for it to work. That's where ChatGPT can now come in and help you out with that, because it can generate those social media posts, and you can even create them in batches. So it can put together a batch of social media posts that then you can go out there and use a service like Hootsuite or later, and you can schedule those posts. and you can create a month of social posts within an hour, right? Using images that either you've taken or you design through softwares like Canva that are, inexpensive to use. But now you can use ChatGPT to generate those captions for you. It's the same thing when you take a look at the social marketing ads through Facebook. When you load your social marketing ads and paid ads through Facebook, it allows you to create different combinations, right? 5 different titles, 5 different headlines that will be tested, right? It tests what the winning combination is or what the best combination to get the highest engagement rate is. And so realistically, you should be creating 5 titles, 5 sets of headlines for every single ad that you put out there on Facebook. Well, that's a lot of writing time. Now you can simply tell ChatGPT, write me 5 Facebook ad headlines on this topic containing these details, and it'll spit the 5 out for you in a few seconds. So again, pretty incredible stuff with ChatGPT, the AI software that has just, I'd say come onto the scene, but like charged into the scene and taken over the spotlight, grabbed the microphone, and everyone is paying attention to it because the results are real. The implications are real to how this is going to change your business. So what I would encourage is sign up for an account. It gives you a sandbox right now. It allows you to kind of play around with it. It gives you a sandbox to test it out. Again, the subscription model is not that expensive. It's based off of tokens. So even if you do start getting into the paid model where you're paying for some of these different blogs and services, it's not that much. Start testing it out and seeing what it does for your content marketing strategy. Because that's been something where I'd say really for the last 5 to 7 years of having a solid integrated content marketing strategy is so key. And what I mean by integrated is that you're not just utilizing, 1 or 2 platforms, that you've actually got marketing strategies with your blog writing, with your email writing, with your social posts, your website product copy. It's all aligned. It's all scheduled out. It's on point and it's targeted and it's effective. That's what I mean by a content marketing strategy, is being able to consistently produce content that's relevant to your audience that you're serving them or you're publishing throughout the year. And again, a lot of people, a lot of business owners have just said, I don't have time for that. That's not my focus. Well, now it is. It's tools like this, marketing tools like this that come along that make marketing easier, allow you to do more things. And ChatGPT is definitely that. So take a look at it and see, because I got to say, I'm impressed with my testing on it. There are obviously going to be downfalls. There's going to be negative aspects out of it that we kind of discussed. The cons is it's going to put into question the relevancy and credibility of content that we're seeing out there. And so we have to, as people, be better at identifying what that is. It's becoming harder. Google's job, Yahoo's job, Bing's job, the search engine's job just became exponentially harder to try and sort that out. But from a business owner standpoint, this tool absolutely changes the way that you make content, and you absolutely need to be utilizing it. It's simple, it's easy. Look it up, ChatGPT. And there's a number of other ones that are out there. ChatGPT is not the first one, but it's the one that's getting the most headlines because of how simple and because of how accurate it is, because of how good the copy that it's writing is. So check it out. I hope this was a worthwhile podcast. This is fascinating stuff that's going on. This is changing our marketing world as we speak. So I hope that this was useful to you. I hope you got some good information out of it. Look forward to hearing from you guys on how you're utilizing this. Feel free to send in any good experiences, any bad experiences. Let me know how this went. That's it for us today. Thank you for listening to the Undone Podcast, where we try to make all things marketing a little bit simpler.